Hey everyone, it's Maribel Blue. Welcome to a special Unfiltered. If you are new here, welcome to this channel. I do news and reactions, and if you are not new, welcome back. So today we are going to talk about Nolan Wells, and I have a lot of catching up to do. Like, I've just been really watching a lot of videos. I haven't had a chance to sit down and record until now since my last Nolan Wells update. This video with Nancy Grace, she talks about the recording of the distress call the guys had made on the boat and how they alleged that the boat was sinking and all of this noise in the background. Now, I know a woman had cleaned up the audio. She showed herself how she was using the audio. She did like a double screen showing how she was cleaning up the audio. I know she made a comment about, I think something about it being like a mono audio, so she was able to separate the sounds of the recording and showing that she did not tamper with the audio in any way. In addition to that, Nancy Grace, her producer or engineer, I think, also cleaned up the audio and got the same thing. Just to show that this woman who was showing how to clean up the audio and enhance the sound of what they were getting in the background, the engineer got the same exact thing. Let me tell you something. Nolan Wells, the death of this child and how unexpected the response that people are getting, the clapback, the officer Tatum, the interview that he did with one of the guys. I believe this guy Bart now acquired an attorney and he sent a cease and desist to a lady who I guess was alleging a lot of things. Look, what I'm going to share on this channel will be things that people collected from Nancy Grace, from Don Lemon. I'm not going to different creators on TikTok. I will not do that. And the reason why is because there are too many people doing a lot of conspiracy theories bullshit, even psychics. And like I told you before, I read tarot cards. I'm into the whole oracle thing. I'm into it. I will not feature people of that nature when it comes to Nolan Wells. There is so much to uncover, and there's just a lot of shit with other people who are just putting information out there. They are not taking anything under regard. And then on top of that, to attack Nolan Wells' mother and creating all of these different lies about her work ethic. Why are we doing that? Seriously, why are we doing that? This mother deserves answers about what happened to her son. And I think anybody who was in this position, who has been in the past, who will be in the future, unfortunately, because life is life, right? We try to protect our children as much as we can, but just imagine you just want to know what happened to your son. And all of this hate has transpired as a result of it. And it's very sad.
Everyone in the background is saying, is he dead? Nolan, wake the up.
Claiming they're sinking and calling for help. And yet in the background, are we really hearing all of this other activity?
Nobody has ever, none of the kids on this boat have ever admitted that anybody said that they thought Nolan was dead.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the work coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag on
unless you
here.
have a membership number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at
You are hearing the audio distress call from the boat. That is the boat on which Nolan Wells went to Horn Island. Now, there have been a lot of different accounts about whether he was on the boat when he came back from Horn Island, when he was supposed to come back from Horn Island. He never came back from Horn Island. And you can clearly hear on that version, which we obtained from the Mississippi Department of Marine Research. They released it. It's not something off TikTok or Insta. And that's what you hear. Let me hear 184 one more time, please.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd
Hello?
you say?
Okay, I want to stop this video here for a moment. In this particular recording, I don't think the boat was sinking. This is my own personal opinion. Let me just say that up front. I don't believe the boat was sinking. I think something happened. They panicked. They didn't know what to do. And that was the call they made to the CETO, whatever it's called. As she's speaking to him and asking him questions, you can tell he's not really paying attention to what she's saying on the phone. He's paying attention in that moment of what is happening. That's the way I'm looking at it. What happened before that call, I don't know. And this is the question that everybody has as to what happened.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down.
Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter. What are we hearing?
Nancy, this is the audio call from the boat that Nolan Wells took out to Horn Island. And the boat is attempting to leave Horn Island because the boat is taking on water. What we are hearing is the call from the boat to the group they have.
CETO, let me help you. Let me help you. Reminder, Dave Mack, we've only got 1 hour to cover a lot of territory. That is the CETO call where the grandson of the boat owner thinks that they're taking on water. Joining me right now, special guest Brandon Tatum. He is a former police officer with Tucson PD, and he is the star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube. He has interviewed Nolan's friends. Now, we're about to bring on two experts, each one taking a different viewpoint on that call. But, Officer Tatum, thank you for being with us tonight. No matter what you say, just know you're going to get hate mail. Doesn't matter what you say. If the angel Gabriel came down right now and spoke on this case, he would get hate mail. That said, what do you make of that audio, officer?
Well, Nancy, thank you so much for having me on. If you put the audio within context, it is an impossibility unless these people are prophesying that somehow they're saying Nolan's name or projecting that Nolan is somehow injured, hurt, or killed, because we have witnesses that have come out. When I interviewed Warren, a lot of those kids that I talked to already alluded to this way before the audio came out, that they were gone. And people had already saw Nolan after they had left. The young lady, Katie, that he was hanging out with, I saw a text message from her alluding to the fact that she never saw him get on that boat at all. We have video of the boat that we shared on our social media page, and it shows all the occupants on the boat, and Nolan was not there. And so if a person thinks that they've heard something on the audio, they have to compare it with context. Maybe they said, "Is it dead?" talking about items that could potentially have died or damaged on the boat, given the fact that they were sinking. So I think people need to put this in context and reevaluate what they're listening to on the video, because if you are going to make a staunch stance in the wrong direction, in my opinion, by saying they're obviously talking about Nolan, it is incredibly impossible. One more thing real quick, that when you look at where they were at when they made the phone call and their GPS coordinates, it literally put them on the island. And we know, and not on the physical island, but really close proximity to the island. And we know, because we have another video of Nolan being out there and also all the other boats surrounding him, that this would have had to happen very near to hundreds of people in hundreds of different boats. So somebody would have seen something if there was a dramatic commotion like this occurring on that boat.
I hear what you're saying, Officer Brandon Tatum. That last part that you said, that there were hundreds of people around and they would have seen what happened, that part, I disagree with that. John Mobley joining us, veteran trial lawyer out of South Carolina. John, take off your defense hat one moment and let's address that statement. Do I have to say Tupac? That just comes off the top of my head. Crimes happen all the time in a crowded area and nobody sees anything. Either they say they didn't see anything, or they really didn't see anything, because it all blends in, right? It all blends in. I've had a little boy thrown off the 3rd level of the Mall of America almost to his death. He did die and he was brought back to life. Nobody saw what happened. A guy threw him over. People were all over the mall. The food court was crowded. Nobody saw. I had like 2 witnesses. So I think part of it is, Mobley, you don't expect to see something, and so your mind is not interpreting, it's not intercepting what you're physically seeing. And again, we don't know what happened. We don't know why Nolan Wells has a red mark on the back of his occipital. We don't know. Was he hit? Did he fall? Then fall off a boat? It could have been any number of things. Some nefarious, some an accident, some negligent. My point is, just because there's a lot of people around, that does not guarantee you witnesses, Mobley. You know that better than anybody with all the cases you've tried.
Well, Nancy, I got to call it like I see it. I think there are 2 things I want to say to address that. The first part, I would agree with you that, yes, a lot of people can be around and they can notice something, that something can happen rather, and people not see it. However, I think the way that the human mind works, we would all agree, is we perceive things all the time, okay? And we may perceive something that at the time we perceive it, it is not deemed significant. However, in this case, I do believe that if someone did see something that they didn't pay particular attention to involving Nolan Wells, once all of this has come out, the way the mind works is it'll trigger what they saw before, because now it becomes significant, okay? So I do agree that people can perceive things and not pay attention to them, but when something significant happens later, sort of like being robbed, you're not paying attention to what everybody's wearing, but if that one of somebody robs you and later on you have to recall what that person is wearing, what they look like, you can recall it because it's important at that point. But at the time they perceived it, it was not important. So that's what I want to make sure I discuss. And I do want to address, you talk about the red mark on the back of his head. I mean, I think that is a red herring. That's something that everybody kind of latched onto because they're so desperate for any information that might be related to the cause of his death. But even the own pathologist that conducted the autopsy did not
put him up. Mobley, are you a medical doctor? Yes, no.
I know how to examine forensic evidence based on the countless homicides that I've tried.
Listening, not hearing, yes, no. You're not a medical doctor.
I'm a juris doctor.
Are you a medical examiner?
I am not.
No. Put up the back diagram, the back of the head of Nolan Wells from the second autopsy right now. You know what? I give it to you, Marvel. You're a great trial lawyer. A medical examiner, you ain't.
So on that particular episode of Nancy Grace, that was when Officer Tatum came onto the show, and it has exploded into diverse conversations about who Officer Tatum is, what he represents on his show. I'm not going to get into all that because I'm actually doing a panel discussion with Bishop. We are recording on Wednesday. Officer Tatum was on this episode, which has opened up a large can of worms and conversation from people who have been talking about what does racism mean? Are we still living in some system of racism, which we are? Let's not even question that. But there are people who are saying we're not. And Officer Tatum, I believe, is one of those people who is talking about Black culture like what happened 400 years didn't really happen, or it wasn't that bad. I mean, didn't Kanye West say the same exact thing? I want to have this conversation with Bishop, and I also want to reach out to other people who want to have these real world conversations, because these are conversations which need to be had. Every day we need to be talking about this. This isn't about racism is over. Stop attacking white people. I've heard it all on TikTok. I have heard it all. And coming from Black people who are saying this, which to me is crazy. This is not about attacking other people. This is about addressing the elephant in the room of what is happening every single day in people's lives. You cannot understand what it is to be a Black man if you are not Black, to get in a car, to innocently drive into work and then be stopped because you are Black. I don't know any white person who has been randomly stopped because they were white. I never heard that story. So please spare me the BS with that. And I'm being serious. I don't want to read it in the comments. I don't want that to be part of the comments of making excuses for racism. There is no excuse for it. Something happened to Nolan Wells. We don't know what happened. We don't know what his friends know. So don't insinuate what you think you know and then put it on social media. And I want to close with this. Something that Don Lemon has been bringing up during his lives that he does in the morning and afternoon. And I can see why it's upsetting. He talks about like these influencers and content creators because Don Lemon is a journalist. He went to school for it. He worked on CNN. So I can see him setting himself apart from people like me. You know, I did not complete my degree in journalism and I plan on doing that. But until then, I'm just simply a commentator, a content creator, putting different news segments together here. But you have a lot of people who drive like using their shorts, who to me are content creators, who is putting this information out there, putting conspiracy theories out there, putting assumptions out there, which a lot of it isn't true. And I think we all need to be careful. This is the reason why I'm not just using some rando people on TikTok. I will use people on TikTok as like when I'm doing the TikTok Streets edition. That's something completely different. But when we're talking about something serious like this, it's important to have the resources of people who have done the research, people who are experts in their field, who can speak on what is happening here. So with all that being said, this is Maribel Blue signing off. As always, remember, be good to yourself, be good to each other. Most importantly, take care of you. Bye, everybody.